governance now. This is Gitanjali Manhas and you're watching Checks and Balances. With over 690 million active internet users, which is 41% of its population, today India ranks second only to China in terms of internet usage. Ease and massive increase in online banking and digital payments has seen a parallel rise in banking and payment frauds, where both banks and customers have been taken for a ride. The Reserve Bank of India has said that these frauds have become sophisticated and the numbers and amounts involved have been increasing. As per the RBI report for the year ended March 2022, card and internet frauds worth $1.55 billion have been reported in 3,596 cases. Another RBI report says that in the last 7 years, India has lost at least rupees 100 crore to banking frauds and scams.
9, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
While the public at large has been unaware of the modus operandi of the fraudsters, banks too have been slow in upgrading the safety systems to match tricks of fraudsters. The regulator, RBI, needs to standardize processes and safety systems of all the stakeholders involved in digital payment ecosystem, as this will also help law enforcement agencies in reducing their efforts in investigation of financial cybercrimes. At another level, government is still to set up financial sector CERT. We spoke to technical and cyber experts as well as officers of the Mumbai police. Balsing Rajput, DCP, Mumbai Crime Prevention and Detection, said,
if you see the journey from 2000 to till date, when in 2000 the IT Act was enforced, the growth of crimes is year on year. It's maybe 100%, sometimes it's 200 or 300%. Of the total cybercrime, the crimes like debit and credit card frauds are topping it. Second is through the e-wallets. Third is sextortion and loan frauds that are also coming up. And then there are the frauds related to stalking and the morphing of the pictures of the women and children. Criminals are, forming a kind of a syndicates, and then they are setting up a call centers to call the people.
N.S. Nappinai, Advocate Supreme Court, founder CyberSaathi, and author of the book Sassy Tales on Trending Cyber Crimes, said,
you have a report which says that for every 10 seconds there is a cyber crime. And then you have the NCRB report which talks about cyber crimes in thousands. If a cyber crime is taking place every 10 seconds, then the report should be in crores. Our information in terms of as a practitioner, our information also is that the crimes that are being committed do run into crores, or I would say millions, right? Several millions.
A large number of cases are unreported because the investigating officers may lack technical skills or the victim themselves do not want to lodge the complaint. TV Mohandas, Chairman Manipal Global Education and former Director Infosys, however, explained, saying,
we are a very large country. There are 6.6 billion UPI transactions taking place. It's 45-50% of the world's digital transactions. So the number of frauds may be there, but it'll be very small as a percentage. If you look at the transactions, all these fraud per million transactions is quite low. Please remember that the most brilliant people in the world have become hackers. You're fighting against the most brilliant, most capable people. Yes, there are a lot of idiots there who try to do low-level fraud. You can put them in jail. But some of the most brilliant people in technology go to become hackers because the returns on investment are very large. Please remember, we are all innocent, unsophisticated, simple-minded people, right? Why do people not report? Because they know that if you report, nothing happens. See, customer service attitude should change across India. First, we must accept customers are right. And we must make consumers comfortable that their grievance will be redressed. Look, India will have a share of online frauds. We are digitized among the most digitized countries in the world. Now, is it beyond an acceptable percentage or is it within acceptable percentage? So we have to create mechanisms like fraud insurance, fraud detection, everything. It's an ongoing thing. And I'm sure it will happen over a period of time, but you can never win the battle.
Cybercrime has existed much before the Information Technology Act was enforced in India. In fact, Mumbai police was the first victim to fall prey to cybercrime, with their site getting hacked. When we asked Rajput about emerging and evolving technical and legal challenges faced by the police in handling increasing cybercrimes, he said,
These kind of frauds, mainly cyber frauds, are new to users, new to companies. They are evolving. They are new to the police also. But police department has taken that challenge, and positively we are making progress toward it. Slowly but steadily, we are training our people. The people are becoming now an expert investigator into that. This ecosystem is complex first. Second, this ecosystem is not only a jurisdiction bound, a country bound. It's a global system. The technical issues are also there, like encryption, then VPN. Then there is a challenge of the trained, or we can say trained manpower, or maybe human resource with the police. And so we are training them, but retaining them and upgrading them is also a challenge. Then there are some legal challenges also. Like suppose if you take the IT Act, there are some incidences or some crimes that are not covered in the IT Act. We need amendment. There are the IPC also don't cover some of the crimes, but these crimes are serious, are happening. But as there is no provision, that is also a challenge. Then the IT Act also mentions that a sufficient rank officer like a PI should investigate. Such kind of officers are very less in department. So that is also a kind of challenge, because there is a number of complaints and the officers equivalent to that are very a small quantum.
On data protection, Rajput said,
in India, presently, we don't have any data protection act, but government is coming up with a data protection act. Presently, whatever we have is the Information Technology Act and the, you can say, Indian Penal Code. We register cases of theft data if data is breached, and then we investigate it.
So when you're talking about the IT Act, the background in which it came out was to enable e-commerce. It did not even have cybercrime as a focus, considering many cybercrimes had already happened and cost millions of dollars of loss before the IT Act came out. I would simply bat for a new law, certainty in terms of law precision. Law as a deterrence will work when a criminal knows that they can be caught and they can be punished. So that deterrence aspect, which probably is a little weak now, has to be strengthened, and this is just one form that they could adapt. Not choose a band-aid syndrome of trying to keep repairing an existing defaulty mechanism, but to come up with something more robust.
In contrast, Mohandas Pai said that despite having good policies, India lacks enforcement. This is how he explained to us.
Look, India has a comprehensive cybercrime policy. The law is there, everything is there. What matters is enforcement. Now, enforcement requires enormous amount of investment. Much of the online crime and online fraud is very rudimentary. It's not very sophisticated. So we need to put that in place and go after them. And you can do it at the back end by searching how these things happen, etc. There are known targets. and there has to be very severe punishment because it's an organized racket. We have a broken justice system where you file against somebody, it takes years and years and years. In the 75 years of our freedom, the justice system has been the biggest disappointment and the biggest failure. We have been promised justice in our constitution and justice has not been given. The poor suffer the most. You have to enhance prosecution capacity. Just recently, the Prime Minister was on record to say that people are extremely disappointed with the judicial system for not coming up, but he must invest more in online fraud, online case. Where is the state capacity? Where is the investment? Where are the trained people? Where are the courts? That is the problem. It's not about policy. We got brilliant people sitting in Delhi writing all kind of policy. Of course, much of the policy is oppressive. Prime Minister Modi is trying to remove all that.
While a victim may be vigilant and immediately report the fraud to the bank, he is told to come back with an FIR, which in practice takes time. By the time the victim comes back to the bank with the FIR, the zero liability window on the customer has already closed. In the case of KYC, even when the banks have taken all the documents, you still get repeated calls for verification or updation of your KYC documents. And the person may never know whether the call is really coming from the bank or a fraudster.
My suggestion to RBI is there is definitely a need and an urgent need to relook the kind of regulatory mechanism that has been put in place to protect customer rights. Why is it that banks which have not done their KYC norms effectively not been penalized? Because if the KYC norms are done properly, if the banking system is perfect, not just at the payer level but also at the payee level, then there is no way a cyber criminal can use banking systems to siphon out money. Often, once the money has gone out of the banking system, it is very difficult to recover. And now they also have enough precedents from across multiple jurisdictions for this.
For the bank, we must have a common KYC like Aadhaar. We must have a KYC authority for India where all of KYC is there. So all authorities, we can empower them to get the data and do it. So all this kind of costs and all will come down. Look, the banks have strong fraud detection system. They do have. I was the board of a stock exchange in India. I know what happens. They've got an enormous amount of investment. They've got thousands of attacks every single day and they protect themselves. It's not difficult. See, every bank has to build up expertise. It requires investment. They're not making investment. They don't have people. They got very good core banking. Core banking is there and it works very well. So the instance of bank fraud are very less compared to the rest of the world.
Alerting users against the tricks adopted by fraudsters, Hemraj Singh Rajput, DCP Mumbai Cyber, the unit that looks after cyber safety of Mumbai City, said,
So generally the fraudsters, they do call from some personal numbers, they do message you from personal numbers and they do ask you to call on that personal number only. So this itself, it shows that it is nothing but a fraud. The fraudster, they do call you and the call lasts for more than 15-20 minutes. So whether that particular agency is having that much of ample time to waste on single customer for certain amount, very less amount, so that has to be checked. So it is something, so it gives a sense that it looks fishy, it smells fishy, you have to be very alert.
on how prepared Mumbai Cyber is against online fraud, he said.
Mumbai police is having an infrastructure of 5 regional police stations and different 5 regions. So we are having a trained manpower of officers and men. And recently, last year only, these 5 regional police stations were inaugurated, and these police stations are taking care of the frauds which are more than 10 lakh of rupees. Right now, we have more than 40 officers and more than 90 men with me.
Further, speaking on device safety, applications and links received, Balsing Rajput explained.
we download many such applications which we normally don't use for 6 months or maybe for 3 months or 1 month. We should not keep such kind of applications in our mobile phones, because these applications pick up data also, and all the applications are not verified. All applications are not the correct trusted applications. So they also pick up data, and that data is also misused. Is about links. We get SMS, we get messages, we get links for payments. We should be cautious that such links shall not be pressed, not in the email also, not in the messages also, or even though someone sends through WhatsApp or maybe through SMS. We should not open such kind of links, because that links then will give a root access to OLX kind of frauds are happening, then payment frauds are happening. Last one is about, it's all about human stupidity. We are basically sharing the data with the, as a user, we have to be aware of what kind of technology and what kind of devices we are using.
Pai, while speaking on having safer apps, he has said,
you must have a test bed where the apps are put, and the apps must go through the test bed. That's what we do in software. When you write a software product, you put a lot of test cases, whatever you learn through it. And then what the people like NPCI should do is to get a group of ethical hackers. Young people whom whom you're certified, and say, hey, go after this app, break it up. That's what I would do if I write an app. I'll get the best minds and pay them money to do it. NPCI is a fantastic organization. All right, I know them well. I know the people of the code. I think code is some of the best in the world. They have the share of problems. I guess they got to communicate better to tell people.
It is not enough for RBI to just tell banks and payment systems to put out awareness programs about the kind of cyber crimes. It's even more important for users to know what their remedies are and how can they avail of it.
in case you have become a victim of cybercrime, what should you do? Here, Nappinai said,
So if you want your remedies quickly, go to the local police station. If a police refuses to register your complaint, there are multiple steps for you to take for getting your remedies, like filing a representation before the Commissioner of Police, then going before a court, or you have this online option, cybercrime.gov.in. So please avail of your remedies, because if you don't do it, then you're letting a criminal get away and you're also not helping the system become more robust.
Balsing, to Concord.
Government of India has provided a platform, online platform for submitting the complaints, that is cybercrime.gov.in. This national portal. So I request that we, all the complainants or citizens should take note of it and report online. Then there is helpline also, it's a pan-India helpline. So 1930. If you call on that helpline, the immediate help is provided to freeze the money or to report, how to report the crime, cybercrime particularly with the police stations. Once you call it, it's on record. Once you file an online complaint, nobody is stopping you. Once that complaint is on the paper, it's timestamped. It gives you details where the complaint is actually laying. So that provision has been made.
On a long-term and permanent basis, PI called for having overarching cyber safety mechanisms at all levels, as well as enforcement. Here is what he said.
Government must understand one thing: it has limitation on its capability and capacity. It must have specialized institutions doing highly specialized jobs. Yes, sir, should be on top of the pyramid. They should be on top of the pyramid and not try to do too many things because they don't have the capacity. NIC will never have the capacity because good people will not join them. We don't pay well. I'm sure the NSA has got very high cyber security institutions. NSA has it, but they must do it. But I'm one of the few people who've been telling publicly that the Indian Army and possibly the Chief of Defense Forces, the new organization, should have a cyber army. We have all these Paki agents who try to come and subvert and put some rubbish, right? I mean, they don't have the capability. They do it. The Chinese come and do it very smartly. They're extremely sophisticated. They're the best in the world now in hacking. They do it very quietly. They're doing it for years. They run circles around the US. See, government is stuck in its own processes. The problem with large governments is people spend more time managing themselves than managing giving citizen service. Get specialized agencies to execute and focus on their job, policy and review. Prime Minister Modi is reviewing infrastructure projects every 2 months.
Yeah.
Minister Gadkari is doing it every month. That's why things happen. Because there is inertia in government. It's a natural outcome of a large system.
With growing technology, growth in cyber crimes is evident, but early and effective measures can help avoid cyber mishaps, both big and small. Thank you for watching Checks and Balances.